Now let's do problem 5 on the practice exam. Okay, so antiderivatives. We haven't done this in class yet, but it'll be next time. So two parts. Okay, so just find the antiderivative. Start with A. Alright, so we ask ourselves, what capital F is it that will have 60t squared as a derivative? So you can reason this out in your head. You know, if you take the antiderivative, the exponent must go up by 1 instead of down by 1. Okay, but now if I take the derivative of this thing, the 3 is going to come out and make it 180 instead of 60 and mess things up. So what you have to do to protect yourself from that is just divide it by 3. Okay, so this is what the antiderivative is basically going to be. Okay, but also it could be plus any constant, right? So that's what the second part here is about. It says f of 1 is 3. Okay, so if f of 1 is 3, that's going to leave no choice about what this constant has to be. So what do I mean by that? Let's plug in f of 1. Okay, so f of 1 is going to be 60 over 3, which is 20, plus c, but now they're telling us that that's definitely equal to 3. Okay, and so that means that c has no choice but to be minus 17. And so the final answer is f of t equals 60t cubed over 3 minus 17. So that's the answer to part A. Now let's look at part B. Okay, so slightly harder, sine function. So two things to do. So just the same way that you kind of ignore pluses when you take derivatives, you can also do antiderivatives term by term. So first let's find out what the antiderivative of just x is. Okay, so alright. So the antiderivative of x is going to be the exponent is going to go up by 1. Okay, but we don't want a 2 to pop out when we take the derivative, so we protect ourselves by putting a 2 down like that. And now the derivative of this part is going to be x, so we're good. Alright, and now let's worry about this next part. Okay, so it's going to have something to do with minus cosine, right? Because the derivative of cosine is sine, but it's negative sine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of preemptively put in this little negative sign. So minus 2 cosine x, and you can see that this is going to work, right? Now when I take the derivative of cosine, it's going to be negative sine, but then the negative signs are going to cancel. And when I take the derivative of this part, it's just going to be x, and so this is going to work. The only last detail to worry about is this plus c thing. Alright, but we can fix that. Or we can find what number it is, because we're also told this other thing here, which is that when we plug in 0, negative 6 should come out. Okay, so let's just pick c to make sure that's true. Alright, so what happens when we actually put in 0? This thing vanishes, the first part vanishes, and cosine of 0 is 1, and so I get negative 2 plus c. Okay, but on the other hand, we're being told that it has to be equal to negative 6. Alright, so that means c has to be equal to, so add 2 to both sides and you get negative 4. Alright, so that means that the final answer for this part, for part B, is f of x equals x squared over 2 minus 2 cosine x minus 4. And that's the answer.